Welcome to my channel. Today we will be making a beautiful baby frock for a 1-year-old. This is very easy to make and beginners friendly. If you're interested in learning how to make a beautiful 1-year-old baby frock design like this one, then let's get started. So we'll begin with the top part of the dress, which I will be marking on the lining piece right here. So I am going to fold into 2 and fold again, making 4 fold. I'll leave a space for the zipper for the back. The length of this is 8 inches. So now we'll start taking the measurement. For the shoulder, I used 4.5 inches, which I will mark right here. For the armhole depth, I used 4.5 inches, which I will mark right here and connect to the shoulder. Now on this armhole line, I will mark her chest divide by 4 plus sewing allowance, which I used 7 inches. On the waistline, I used 6.5 and I'm just going to connect the side. Now curve the armhole just like this. For the shoulder drop, I will be dropping it with about half of an inch and connect towards the neckline. Now for the neckline, I will use 2.5 inches for the wideness and 2.5 inches for the depth. This is for the front depth actually. So I'll curve out the neckline just like this. Now for the back neck depth, I will be using 1 inch for it. So I will mark 1 inch and then curve out the back neck line. Now we are done. Let's cut it out. When you cut out the back neckline, make sure to take away the back pieces before you go ahead and trim off the front neckline. Now I'm going to place these lining pieces on the main fabric and use it to cut it out on the fabric. If you're watching this video right now, please give this video a thumb up. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. It is completely free, but it will mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for your support all this while. I really do appreciate you guys. It is because of you that I keep showing up here. Thank you and thank you again. So because the fabric is a lace fabric and is quite transparent, it's going to be having a double lining. The first lining is the one that we'll be stitching together with the fabric. So go ahead and place the lining pieces on the main fabric just like I have done in this video and proceed to stitch them together. Okay, so stitch everything together to marry them as one. So just like I explained earlier, I have actually stitched the lining piece on the main fabric right here. So I'm going to proceed to turn with the actual lining. So I'll go ahead and place the lining pieces on the main fabric. I'll make sure to arrange everything properly and then head to the sewing machine and stitch on the neckline for the front piece. And then for the back pieces, I'll stitch on the center back and the neckline, and then I will be back. So I've stitched the lining on the neckline and center back like I said earlier. I'm going to go ahead and notch this before I flip it to the right side. I am notching it so that when I flip it to the right side, it will be able to lay flat. Okay, so this is what the front part looks like. I'll go ahead and do the same with the back piece. I'll notch all the areas that I stitched and then turn to the right side. This is what the back piece looks like. Next thing I'm going to do is to join the shoulders. So I will place the back pieces on top of the front piece. I will match the shoulder just like this. Open it up, so match the lining part and the fabric part and go and stitch with half of an inch. I have joined the shoulders right here and this is what it's looking like at this point. So next thing I'm going to do is to turn the armhole area with the lining. So to do that, simply fold over the armhole area just like this. Push the main fabric to match the lining. The right sides should match each other and go ahead and stitch like this. I'll head over to the sewing machine now and stitch. I have stitched the lining on the armhole area. Now I'm going to make notches round it so that I will flip it to the right side and it will stay flat. Okay, so just go ahead and turn it out to the right side from this angle where I am turning out mine. So you can go ahead and give it a good press after you have turned it out to the right side. Okay. Alright, so this is what we have now. So I'll be finishing up the sides, that is the rough edges, before I join the sides actually. So to do that, I'll just turn the lining and fabric to match, and then I'll go ahead and stitch on a tiny allowance so it doesn't significantly reduce the size of the top. Okay, so I have done that. I have finished up the sides with the lining pieces like I said earlier. So now I'll be taking measurement of this top part from the waist of the front part to the waist of the back part. This is to know how many inches I'll be using to cut out the gathered sleeve. Okay, so this is the fabric that I have cut out for the gathered sleeve. The entire length of this piece of fabric for the sleeve is 35.5 inches. Now I have two pieces of these pieces of fabric for the both sides of the sleeve, and I have actually hemmed this, and this is about 3.5 inches. So both of them are 35.5 inches long and 3.5 inches wide. So I'm going to fold this into two, so I will trim down the edges, that is the ends. Okay, so it will have like a high-low effect. I'll do the same thing with the other part of piece of fabric. So I'll go ahead and gather it to fit the top. I have gathered it right here and the two sleeves are ready. So I'll simply place it on the top just like this, and I'll go ahead and stitch. So before I stitch, I want to mark where exactly I want to place this on. So on the shoulder part, I kind of measured and took half of the shoulder part and made a mark right there. Now I'll come down to the front part and get the midpoint of the front. So I measured the entire waist of the front and divided it into two. Now on that midpoint, I marked 3 inches by the side. Okay, so I'll connect that point to meet the shoulder point. Now down to the back piece, I measured 4 inches from the center back, and I'm going to connect these marks together, and on that mark is where I will be placing the frill on top, and I will stitch it like this. So afterwards I will flip it over. I really hope you understand this. So I'll just place it just the way I am doing in this video and stitch it. So I'll flip it and then the roughness is hiding. Okay, I have stitched it and you can see how beautiful the top is coming out already. So you can see that the stitches are hiding inside the gathered sleeve. Okay, now this is the down part. I have already cut it out, and the length of this is 11 inches. The wideness is ×2 of the entire waistline of the top. Okay, the waistline of the top I measured was 22 inches. Now this gathered part of the dress is ×2 of 22 inches, that is 44 inches. Before I go ahead and gather the lower part of the dress, I will proceed to join the side of the top. So I'll match the top side by side and join with the sewing allowance that I added. I've already joined the side here, as you can see. Now I will proceed with the lower part. Now, like I said, this lower part is ×2 of the entire waistline of the top part. Okay, you can do ×3 if you want that, or if you have much fabric, but I just have a limited amount of fabric and I had to make do with what I have. Okay, so I have 45 inches here, and 11 inches length. So I will gather this to fit the top, and after gathering I will proceed to join it to the top part. I have joined the top part to the lower part right here, and I also fixed my zipper. Now you can add a bow to decorate your dress if you want, and I did just that. This has brought us to the end of today's tutorial. I hope you got value from this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're yet to. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.